This is Carol again. This is a tutorial to combine luminance, RGB and 8J together, and also mainly to demonstrate the use of Registar for registration of all the images. When I captured my RGB, it was binned ×2, so I'll show you if I select all on the luminance and attempt to copy it onto the red. It doesn't fit because the images are two different sizes. So that's no good. I have to resize the image. So I'm going to step backwards and get rid of that luminance. That was just to show you the difference. And so what I'm going to do, the same applies to the 8J, is I've saved them in a separate folder, and I'm going to open them up in Registar and register them. So here's Registar. So I'm going to go to that folder, which is M78. I just got to remember where I put it. Here we go. So I'm going to open all three of those images, and we're going to ask the registration to be for the luminance. So I click on the register image button, and because there's more than two, we're going for multiple source, and you can see here that register all images to this reference group, which is the luminance. So I'm going to click register. It's fairly quick, but because there's three images here, it just takes a little bit longer. Now the other brilliant thing, that's done now, the other brilliant thing that you can do with Registar is you can actually use the crop tool, which makes all the images exactly the same size, even if you've got like a bit of border around it, so that when you place them on top of each other, they are an exact fit. So you click on this, the crop pad, all open images in the current imaging group, and click match and OK. And as you can see by the heading on this M78 RGB, it's been registered and cropped by the title. So I'm going to close it down now and save it at the same time. I'm going to do the same with the 8J, that's registered and cropped. And the same with, well, these are just simply registered. You can save them or not save them. It's up to you. I usually like to save them as a bit of a backup. And the luminance won't need saving because they've been all registered to luminance. Now, let's exit from there and reopen Photoshop. Open. So here we have the luminance we can open because that didn't have anything done to it. We can open the RGB, which has been cropped and registered, Reg CP, and we can open the 8J, which has been cropped and registered. So they will all fit each other now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 8J. Sorry, I've closed the wrong one. I'm going to add the 8J to the RGB. And what you do, you add it into the, I've closed the wrong one, sorry. You add it into the red channel. So what we need to do is to go into channels, and this little button up here, we're going to split the channels. So we'll end up with a blue file, a green file, and a red file. And the HA, I'm going to select that, copy, and I'm going to paste it on top of the red. Paste. And then if you go back to layers and you need to blend them together, blend mode, lighten, and then flatten that. And so now the HA has been added to the red channel. We need to go back to the channels and recombine the channels again. Merge, RGB color, okay. You just need to make sure that you've got the red in the top, the green in the middle, and the blue in the bottom. So we now have RGB with HA added, and I think you can see that there's that's much redder now than it was before. If you like, we can save that as, oh dear, HA RGB. Save. Okay. So if you open the original, just the RGB, just to see what the difference is. You see, you can see a lot more red in this HA RGB one than you could in the original RGB. I'm going to stretch that a little bit more. Now we've got the HA in there. And I think we're going to balance the colours. You can see the HA regions coming around here. We also need, we won't crop it yet because we need to place the luminance over the top. So, and I want the stars to exactly fit, as we said earlier. So I'm going to open, if it's not open already, the histogram, and make sure all the colours are aligned. They're not bad, but they're just slightly out. So we're going to move the green across a little bit, and we're going to move the blue across a little bit. Okay. So I think there might be a hint of some green in there. I'm just going to do a quick iteration of Hasta La Vista green and see what happens. Well, it's come out okay now. Image adjust. I'm going to increase the color a little bit, color intensity. Okay. So now we've done that. And as you can see, I didn't even bother to line the stars up on that because I knew that Registar would do the job really well. Now let's get rid of some of this noise. I think we'll give it an iteration of dust and scratches, just the one, to tone the noise down a little bit. And we'll open the luminance. Select all, copy, paste. And as you can see, it's an exact fit thanks to Registar. So we're going to drop that down and open luminosity. Sorry, select luminosity. And here we have our HA LRGB image. So I'm going to save that as M78